Houston, we have a problem. Let's think about it. Hey, my name's Justin Harrell. I challenge you to challenge yourself to think about less taught biblical topics. A lot of times, modern man seems to think that ancient man was quaint and stupid. Those poor slobs, they just made stuff up and believed all sorts of mythological nonsense. But today, we have science. Okay, I can't keep... But in fact, we aren't as different as our ancestors as we're led to believe. The ancient gods are still hard at work deceiving the hearts of men, women, and children all around the world. The echoes of the past reverberate all the way out until today. In the last video, we looked at the naming of our planets. We saw how they were named after Greek and Roman gods. Now you might be thinking,
yeah, but that was a long time ago.
Well, it is true that the planets we can see with the naked eye were discovered ages ago. Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn were all discovered by Babylonian astronomers. Each empire afterwards named the planets after their gods. But see, it didn't stop there. The planet Uranus was discovered in 1781 and named after the Greek god of the sky. The planet Neptune was discovered in 1846 and named after the Roman god of the sea. Now at this point, the Greek and Roman empires are long gone, yet we continue to name things after other gods. The moons of Mars, Phobos and Deimos, were discovered in 1877. More Greek gods, but surely it stopped there. Nope. In 1930, Pluto was discovered. It's the 20th century and we still picked a Roman god. Let's look at a couple of Saturn's moons. Saturn 10 was confirmed by Voyager 1 in 1980 and named Janus. That's the Roman god that gave us our month January. Another moon of Saturn, Saturn 53, was discovered the 3rd of March 2009, and it was named Aegeon, May 5th, 2009. This was named after Hecatoncheires, or Hecatoncheires, which means 100-handed one. In mythology, it was 3 monstrous giants of enormous size and strength, with 50 heads and 100 arms.
What?
In the standard tradition, they were the offspring of Uranus, the sky, and Gaia, the earth, who helped Zeus and the Olympians overthrow the Titans. We just can't get away from this. The Genesis 6 Weirder Things still has influence on our society today. I'm an American, so I'm going to look at NASA and their connection to the ancient gods. Believe me, the echoes of the past continue. Project Mercury started in 1958 and completed in 1962. The United States' first man in space program. The objectives were specific. Orbit a manned spacecraft around Earth. Investigate man's ability to function in space. Recover both man and spacecraft safely. In this period, 6 manned spaceflights were accomplished. In almost 5 years, more than 2 million people combined their skills and experience into a national effort. Well, as we already know, Mercury is the Roman god of financial gain, messages, and travel. The symbol used for the program is based on the caduceus. The caduceus is the staff carried by Hermes in Greek mythology, Mercury's Greek doppelganger. Interesting to note that this symbol has become associated with medicine. However, originally the medical symbol was based on a single serpent wrapped around a pole. Sound familiar? Numbers 21, 8 and 9. Then the Lord said to Moses, "Make a fiery serpent and set it on a pole. And it shall be that everyone who is bitten, when he looks at it, shall live." So Moses made a bronze serpent and put it on a pole. And so it was, if a serpent had bitten anyone, when he looked at the bronze serpent, he lived. Now someone in the U.S. Medical Army Corps mistook this caduceus as the symbol for healing. The irony? Hermes was the patron of commerce and traders, and thieves, liars, and gamblers. Actually, that sounds a lot like the pharmaceutical industrial complex today. The Gemini program was used to define and test skills needed to go to the moon. Among these skills were space rendezvous and EVAs, that's extravehicular activities, meaning you exit and leave your spacecraft while in space. The objectives: test an astronaut's ability to fly long durations up to 2 weeks in space, hone skills of rendezvous and docking in orbit around Earth and the Moon, perfect re-entry and landing methods, better understand the health effects on astronauts in space. The new larger Gemini spacecraft was designed to carry 2 astronauts into space. To lift this heavier spacecraft, NASA used the Titan II rocket. Gemini is a constellation in the zodiac. It represents twins. The usage by NASA is obvious because they now had a 2-man vehicle. In Babylonian mythology, Gemini represented minor gods, with names meaning one who has arisen from the underworld and the mighty king. These were understood as titles of Nergal, the Babylonian god of plague, pestilence, and the god of the underworld. In Greek mythology, the children of Uranus and Gaia were known as the Titans. Heaven and earth come together, and their children are the Titans. This is literally the narrative of Genesis 6. The Titans rebel and end up being locked away in the deep pit of Tartarus in the underworld. All of this is review for this Supernatural Zone playlist. Curious though that when NASA needs a rocket to take man into the heavens, they choose the name Titan. The Apollo program finally realized NASA's goal to get man to the moon. But there were other objectives beyond landing Americans on the moon. Establishing technology to meet other interests in space. Achieving preeminence in space for the United States. Carrying out scientific exploration of the moon. Developing human capability to work in the lunar environment. To achieve these goals, bigger and more powerful rockets were selected. The Saturn 1B for Earth orbit and the Saturn V for lunar flights.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
The Saturn V was a beast of a rocket. Standing at 111 meters or 363 feet, this was about the height of a 36-story building. And it weighed 6.2 million pounds fully fueled. Now Saturn is the name of our 6th planet, and we saw last time named after a Roman god, the Greek god being Kronos. Apollo is a Greek god and one of the 12 Olympians. He is son of Zeus and Leto and twin brother of Artemis. We'll come back to her later. Apollo is the god of healing, medicine, archery, music, poetry, and the sun. Hey guys, you're going to the moon. The Space Shuttle program was composed of an orbiter, 2 reusable solid rocket boosters, and a disposable external fuel tank. It was used to carry up to 8 astronauts and up to 50,000 pounds of payload into low Earth orbit. The orbiter would re-enter the atmosphere and land like a glider. Well, during the 80s, NASA took a break in their naming scheme and named the orbiters after antique sailing ships. The test orbiter was originally to be named Constitution, but had its name changed to Enterprise to honor Star Trek.
Live long and prosper.
The regular fleet contained Columbia, Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, and Endeavour. I guess you could argue that Atlantis was a callback to the ancient Atlanteans, which then would connect it to Neptune and Poseidon. The Space Shuttle fleet was retired in 2011. What would come next? Surely we're done honoring the ancient gods, right?
Enter the Artemis program.
Starting in 2017, this program is a reboot of manned exploration to destinations outside Earth's orbit. With the Artemis program, NASA will land the first woman and the next man on the moon by 2024. The objectives: sustainable lunar exploration by the end of the 20s, learning and innovating technologies to take the next leap to Mars. Artemis was the twin sister of Apollo. Artemis was regarded as a patron of girls and young women and a protectress during childbirth. She was the Greek goddess of the hunt, the wilderness, wild animal, chastity, and the moon. You can see why they picked this name. Going back to the moon, just like the Apollo program, but this time there's an emphasis on the first woman to take step on the moon. Modern man, still honoring the gods of old. The heart of man really hasn't changed that much. It's just reworked into modern and deceptive packaging. Psalm 19:1 and 2. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows His handiwork. Day unto day utters speech, and night unto night reveals knowledge. Why is it when we look into the heavens and are in awe of what we see, we honor false gods, naming the planets and moons? Why is it that when we go into the heavens and explore, we honor false gods, naming our space programs? We honor false gods, naming our spacecraft. But when we're angry with someone and we want to curse them out, we take the name of the Most High God in human flesh, Yeshua, Jesus. Yahweh is salvation. We constantly honor the false gods and blaspheme the name of our Creator and Redeemer. It's something we should think about.